Good morning, everyone. As my predecessor said, all successful meetings begin on time, so it's 10 o'clock. And as proper notice of this meeting pursuant to the bylaws was provided to the members, the annual meeting of the members will be called to order without objection. Hearing none, this meeting is called to order. It's exciting to provide our members not only an opportunity to come to the annual meeting, but to attend virtually. We put that in place a couple of years ago, and it's been great to give those that can't attend in person the opportunity to attend virtually. And so I want to welcome all of you here, and I want to welcome those that are attending virtually as well. It's great to have you all here. I want to take a moment just to make some introductions. I'm going off the script a little bit, but I want to introduce the Nex-Tech team. These are a great bunch of employees, and it's a privilege and honor to work for a company as a board member, and I know the rest of the board, I speak for them. They are just a tremendous bunch of employees, and we're privileged and honored to work for a company such as this. So, Nex-Tech team, would you please stand up and just be recognized? Thank you so much. And at this time, I'd like to introduce our board. I believe we might have there we go. I'm going to start from the top left, introducing Ron Rogers. He's our vice president from Kensington, who represents Agric, Kensington, Athol, Gaylord, Lebanon, Aspen, Burr Oak, Ionia, Weber, Republic, and Portland exchanges. Kirk Johnson from Waukegan. He represents Waukegan, Victoria, Galatia, Olmutz exchanges. Dan Schultz, he is our assistant secretary from Grainfield. He represents Grainfield, Gove, Collier, Quinter, Rexford, and Selden exchanges. Glenn Lambert from Zurich, representing DeMar, Halco, Zurich, Natoma, Woodston, Edmond, Logan, Prairie View, Long Island, and Woodford exchanges. Janine Byers-Long, our secretary-treasurer from Russell, represents the Russell exchange. Don Highland from Downs, he represents Alton, Osborne, and Downs exchange. And lastly, myself, Phyllis Weller from Hill City. I'm the president of the board, representing Lenora, Jennings, Hill City, and the morning. I also want to represent a few special guests that we have today. Here we have Mark Kaplinger. He is our corporate attorney. James Robin. He is the district representative from Hayes for U.S. Senator Moran. Kansas Senator Rick Billinger from Goodland District 40. And Ken Rogers from Agra District 110. Thank you all for attending. I'm sure that they will be around after the meeting if anybody has any questions that they want to ask of any of them. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Jimmy. He's going to explain a little bit about how the virtual audience participation works.
All right. Can everyone hear me okay? Thank you. So, as Phyllis mentioned, explain how the virtual attendees will interact with us. So there is a chat feature on the portal that you're logged into. To ask a question or to leave a comment, just type your message in that chat now. And then you click the send button or the enter key, and we'll get that message. If you're experiencing any trouble with the video or the sound quality, or you get disconnected during the meeting, please try refreshing your web browser. You can also let us know via chat if you're having any issues, and you may close and reopen the session through the link you received by email. Voting, okay. With this being a hybrid meeting, being in person and virtually, to simplify the voting process, we are asking for members to vote only if casting a nay vote. That makes it simple for counting votes in here, makes it simple for counting the votes online. So as Phyllis introduces anything for voting, again, you'll vote if you have an objection to that particular vote. All right, so for those that are attending virtually, okay, when the voting screen appears, again, you cast only a nay vote. Once you do that, click enter, just like you would for the chat, and then we'll receive it. If you push the do it later button, it will go away. So don't push the do it later unless you are just not voting, which is basically voting. All right. So when the motion and the second takes place, then Phyllis will give a little bit of time, about 15 seconds, for the online voting to take place, and then we'll move forward.
Thank you, Jimmy. According to our bylaws, we need a quorum of the members to hold this meeting. For those attending virtually, member eligibility was confirmed through the enrollment process when you signed up to attend the annual meeting. Only members were sent a link to log into the meeting. Today, as members logged in, and for those attending in person, we have recorded member attendance. Checking that list, I have been informed that we do have a quorum present. Therefore, I direct the secretary to annex the list of members registered to the minutes of the meeting. The minutes of the June 4th, 2021 annual meeting will be read by the secretary, absent a motion to dispense with the reading and approve the 2021 annual minutes as written. Is there such a motion? There is a motion to dispense with the reading of the 2021 annual meeting minutes. Is there a second? There's a second. Now we ask for approval as instructed by Jimmy. Only cast a vote if you are casting a nay vote. So for those members and present, raise your hand. For those attending virtually, click the no button. And I will wait just a little bit to see if we have any nay votes. Seeing none, we will dispense with the reading of the minutes of the 2021 annual meeting. The Secretary, Janine Byers-Long, will now share a few financial highlights.
Good morning. The audited financials for Rural Telephone and its wholly owned subsidiaries are disclosed in the annual report that you received at registration. Those in the virtual audience received the report via email. I will share a few highlights for the year ending 2021. Rural Telephone and its wholly owned subsidiaries had consolidated operating revenues totaling $77.8 million and consolidated assets of $214 million. Paid $758,000 in property taxes and invested $13.1 million in plant upgrades. Currently, there are 299 full-time and 16 part-time employees with an annual payroll of $23.3 million. And as of December 31st, 2021, there were 15,489 access lines, 8,901 video customers, and 27,731 broadband customers.
I don't know about you, but that's exciting stuff to me. If anybody has any questions, we will be happy to answer them. Mindy Beeker is here. She is our Director of Accounting, Finance, and Billing, and she can take your questions now, or she will be available after the meeting. For those attending virtually, you can ask your question using the chat feature. You can also call our office and speak to Mindy directly. Hearing no questions for Mindy, the secretary will now read the nominating committee report.
We, the undersigned nominating committee appointed by the directors of Rural Telephone Service Company, Inc., state that the following were unanimously nominated on April 13th, 2022 as candidates for the office of Director of Rural Telephone Service Company, Inc., to serve for 3 years or until their successors shall have qualified. Said candidates shall stand for election by the members of the company at their annual members meeting to be held May 24th, 2022 at 10 o'clock a.m. at the Nex-Tech Community Gymnasium, Lenora, Kansas, and by remote communications. Representing Zone 4, Glenn Lambert. Representing DeMar, Palco, Zurich, Natoma, Woodston, Edmond, Logan, Prairie View, Long Island, and Woodruff. And for Zone 5, Don Highland, representing Alton, Osborne, and Downs. Signed, David Hudson, Kim Moore, Harvey Heyer, and Hardy Howard, members of the nominating committee of Rural Telephone Service Company, Inc., as appointed at the Board of Directors meeting on January 25th, 2022.
You have heard the. I got part of it out before I realized I couldn't see. You've heard the nominating committee report. According to our bylaws, nominations for director positions are made by nomination by the nominating committee or by members through a petition process. As no petitions were received, I will now ask the members to make a motion and a second to accept the nominating committee report and elect Glenn Lambert, Zone 4, and Don Highland, Zone 5, for a 3-year term. Is there such a motion? There's a motion. Is there a second? I see a second. Now we will ask for approval. Again, we only ask you to cast a nay vote. For those members in person, if you cast a nay vote, please raise your hand. For those attending virtually, please click the no button and submit. I will wait just a few seconds to allow the virtual audience to vote. We have not received any nay votes, therefore the motion carries to elect Glenn Lambert and Don Highland for a 3-year term. Now I will let Jimmy Todd talk to you about a bylaws amendment.
Thanks, Phyllis. So, as you've seen in the notice for the annual meeting, we do have a bylaw amendment change to be voted on by the membership. Pursuant to the bylaws, under Article 4, Section 4.2, the board reviewed the composition of zones for member representation, quality, and approved the reconstitution of the exchange area zones, as you can see on this slide. You were provided this information at registration, and those attending online also received a file with this information. If you have any questions regarding the bylaw amendment, for those attending in person, please raise your hand. We'll be happy to answer any questions you have. For the virtual audience, please type something in the chat box, as we talked about earlier. And I'll wait just a few minutes just to see if we have any questions. So, Lisa, go back to the previous slide. As you can see, in Zone 1, what is changing is Jennings is being removed from Zone 1 and Edmond is being added. In Zone 2, Waukene and Victoria will be the only exchanges in zone 2. Galatia and Olmus will move to another zone. In zone 3, it will be adding gyms. In zone 4, it will be adding Alton, Galatia, and Olmus, whereas Edmond has already moved over to zone 1. In zone 5, adds Gaylord, but removes Alton. And then in zone 6, it removes Gaylord. So visually, that's what this looks like. So you can see this is the current representation, and this would be the representation based on the approval at this meeting. Ms. Rose? Is there a question? Okay. Well, right. It basically is based on populations. And so there's a requirement to rebalance every few years. And so that was one that moved. Previously it was disaggregate from Victoria or Russell in the past. So again, with Russell being our largest exchange, it didn't fit. And with what we saw in changes in membership after going through and adding the broadband customers as members, it required doing an adjustment. So Joaquin and Victoria are still together, but those two have. Sure, thank you.
Again, as we said, as Jimmy Todd said, we did was based on trying to even out the population. But anyway, so according to our bylaws, this amendment does require member approval. So is there a motion to approve the bylaw amendment? There is a motion. Is there a second? I see a second. Thank you. Now we will ask for approval. Again, please only vote if you're casting a nay vote. For those members in person, raise your hand, and for those attending virtually, click the no button and submit. I will wait just a few seconds to see if we have any nay votes. Seeing no nay votes, therefore the motion carries to approve the bylaw amendments. This time, I'm excited to turn it back over to Jimmy Todd and let him tell you a little bit about this exciting year that we've had.
All right. Well, thank you all for attending. It's always great to be able to have the opportunity to share some of the exciting things we've had going on in the past year. So I'm just going to cover a few things, just kind of a quick review over some of the 2021 highlights, talk a little bit about scholarships and recognize some of our young people who are here and are receiving these scholarships. I'm going to announce those who have been selected for the FRS Youth Tour, talk about some internships, and then just give you a few highlights of what we're working on here in 2022. So as always, we, like everybody else in 2021, continue to kind of deal with the impact of the pandemic. We saw that impact us in a lot of ways. We had people get sick, we had to take measures to protect our employees and our customers, and we continue to do that. At the end of the day, it's all about protecting the team and for them being able to get out and take care of our customers. We continue building fiber across our cooperative footprint and into some of our competitive areas. The areas that we finished out in 2021, the rural areas of Joaquin Exchange, Selden and Natoma in the cooperative footprint. We continued with fiber builds in Great Bend and Salina to continue growing those areas. We upgraded our fixed wireless service. So fixed wireless is a way that we're providing broadband coverage to folks that, quite honestly, we haven't been able to find a way to get fiber to. The cost of building the fiber is significant, and these folks are, if we're not able to do this, they aren't connected at all. Do I think it's the best possible service? No. Fiber is by far the best possible broadband service, but we do everything we can to ensure that we're connecting our friends and neighbors. This is generally for folks that are right outside of our cooperative footprint where we have built the fiber. As with a lot of other businesses, we also dealt with supply chain challenges, which, according to Robert, we're not going to see the end of that for quite a while, because we continue to see issues with materials that we order, whether it's fiber, whether it's electronics, whether it's anything in the construction effort. But the team is doing a fantastic job of forecasting, getting in line and getting ahead, so that we continue to keep moving forward in our builds. And we also, have seen here, just like in a lot of parts of the state and across the country, challenges with the labor market. We have really low unemployment in the state of Kansas, and those areas even lower. So, we're constantly working hard to ensure that we're finding people to fill positions, and I know Nixie and her team are constantly working hard to make sure we get new employees coming in. And that also impacts the construction or the contractors that we hire to help us with some of the builds that we do. So that tight labor market has transitioned into higher costs for those folks that help us out. But regardless, we continue to move forward and do those bills as we expected to. This is a chart that I generally show every year. You'll notice that the line that continues to grow, that's our broadband customers. You can see that all the others have shown consistent but slow, steady losses. And why is that? Well, quite honestly, it's because most of the way that we communicate these days is less and less based on landline. We still have folks that have landline service, but more and more that connectivity is being done through an IP connection. We see the reduction of video subscribers. The reason for that, you're starting to see more and more streaming options. So that's going directly to the consumer through that broadband connection that you see right here. So we expect that this will be a trend that doesn't change. I think you could talk to any of the young people in here, and you would find out that a mobile phone and internet connection are probably the two things that matter most to them, and that's what we will continue to see. This kind of shows a breakdown of the broadband packages that people are subscribing to. When you kind of look at the sections right here, the orange is 20 to 50 meg connectivity. That has stayed fairly consistent, but what you're seeing is more and more you've got folks with something greater than a 50 meg connection, 100 meg, gigabit connection. Why is that? Because more and more of what we do is online, whether it's watching videos or whether it's interacting with games or whether it's doing work type things where you might have a Zoom video call, or you're doing remote education, or just transacting business. Everything is continuing to go towards a broadband connection, and that higher connectivity is important for ensuring that you have good connectivity. This is an example of the amount of capacity going across our network. Our NetOps team continually watches that core network that we have in place. And as you can see, it continually increases. Again, as we just talked about, more and more is going online. As a result, we're seeing more capacity used across that core network. So this is just another example of what we continue to see across our core network, and how we continue to, quite honestly, make the investments to ensure that our customers are experiencing a good connection when they're online. So, as you heard Janine share with you, financially, we had a good year. We exceeded our budget, our goals for the financial part of the business. We allocated $3.9 million to capital credits from 2021. We distributed over $2.5 million in capital credits, and despite that, we continue to see loss of support mechanisms. In the past, I've talked to you about how our cooperative is in a high-cost rural area, and the USF and the KUSF support is what has allowed us to build the network and maintain the network and provide the services on it. And as you can see, we continue to find ways to continue providing excellent service, even when you're seeing these kind of losses in support. A big reason for that is because of the things that we've done to diversify the business, growing in competitive areas where we can realize profits that in the long run will allow us to continue taking excellent care of our cooperative service area. So this just kind of shows an example of how the revenues come into the organization. The blue line is the rural part of it, so that's the regulated telephone company. The red line is Nex-Tech, which is our competitive services, and it is the part of the business that's broadband, video, and the communities that are outside of the cooperative. And then this grayer bar is Nex-Tech Communications. That's the IT business services part of our business. And so together, this is the corporate operation for Nex-Tech and Rural Telephone. So some of the major accomplishments, I asked the team to share with me what they considered some of their major accomplishments, which when I sat down with the board at the end of the year, I think it was like 8 or 10 pages, because I just wanted to share all the great things that we've done. I didn't put 8 or 10 pages of slides for you guys, but I wanted to highlight a few of them. Nex-Tech was asked to participate in a television series called World Greatest. And with that, they came in, they wanted to learn as much as they could about Nex-Tech. They filmed a segment and they aired it on their show. We acquired Vic Innovations, which was out in the Bird City area, and with that, we coupled that with a background award that we had received from the state of Kansas, and we built fiber out to Bird City. We were able to upgrade fixed wireless. We were able to connect more people to fiber and provide service to an area that previously was underserved. We won the NCCA Marketing Excellence Award again. Dustin's team does a fantastic job of marketing, and was recognized at one of the National Association Award presentations. Our help desk, who I tell you, when you talk to folks who use our help desk, the comments are always how wonderful they are, and I will absolutely agree. They don't have an easy job, because a lot of times when people are calling in, they're a little frustrated about something. But they do a fantastic job of taking care of the customers, and they achieve a 90% first call resolution. What does that mean? That means that they were able to resolve the issue 90% of the time without having a truck roll. So that means we're taking care of our customers quicker and in a more efficient manner, and that's always a wonderful thing. And we also internally launched a leadership development program, which I'm just going to brag on the team a little bit. You know, we have around 300 employees, and when we kicked off what we called the leadership roundtable, it was open to anybody in the company to participate. Out of that 300 plus employees, over 100 folks said, "I want to be involved with this." That's amazing. You tell me if you can find a company where you got over a third of the organization wants to, pursue the ability to be a greater leader. And I would tell you that's a company that's going to go somewhere. So I'm excited about where this takes us and our future. So let's talk a little bit about some of the young people in the room. And as always, Nex-Tech sponsors a scholarship to provide some funding for the next step in their life. We had 10 $1,000 scholarships, and these are the young people that received it. If you're here, would you mind standing to be recognized? Reese Leiker, Mallory Henderson, Cody Wagner, Riley Manning, AJ Gramman, Jeremy Ford, Shelby Schmeidler, Jaden Walker, Caitlin Lindholz, and Cameron Leiker. Again, these were ones that received the Nex-Tech scholarship. We also are part of several organizations around the country. WTA initially began as an organization that focused on telecom issues in the western part of the United States. Since then, they've grown so that their footprint covers a national area. So we have folks in WTA that are on the west side of the Mississippi and the east side of the Mississippi. So now, like everybody in our associations, they're using broadband in their name. So it's WTA Advocates for Rural Broadband. And with that group, they also have scholarships that are available for the employees of their members, which I think is amazing. And I'll be honest, I was humbled to see that Nex-Tech had 5 students that were selected. It's I got to the point where they kept calling out Nex-Tech at the spring meeting, and you feel even more excited about it. But Alicia Day, Madison DuBois, Nolan Juneman, Theo Kazee, and Leah Lindemann. If you're here, if you wouldn't mind stand up and wave at everybody, that'd be great. Theo, you could probably do this better than me. Do you want to take over? Okay. All right. And then NCCA is also a national association that we're a member of. They started out as a national association, continue to be. One of the elements of NCCA, a subsidiary organization, if you will, is the Foundation for Rural Services. They do a lot to educate and share information with folks that are decision makers, primarily at the national level. But, in addition to creating the white papers, they also do scholarships and a youth tour. This year, we had a young lady that was selected to receive the Everett Niece Scholarship. This is the largest scholarship that NCCA's Foundation for Rural Services offers. And Emerson Nichols was the young lady that was selected. Nice name. So very happy for you, and again, just amazing how our young people in our area were represented at the national level with these scholarships. The other thing that FRS does that in the past 2 years had kind of been put on hold and unfortunately canceled is the youth tour. And so this is an opportunity for us to send a student to Washington, D.C. They get to kind of see what's going on in Congress. They get to see what's going on at the FCC. They get to meet people from all over the country, and it's just an amazing experience. And our board has done a consistently fantastic job of ensuring that we have young people go into this. So we have two folks that were selected, two young men, Benjamin Doan and Jordan Myers, that were selected. Would you guys mind standing up? Now, I don't know if they told you, but we're looking forward to next year you sharing your experience with us. So, you know, that's something that this year we don't have students being able to share because of last year having the event was canceled. But, you know, we're past the pandemic and now things are getting back to a new version of normal in Washington, D.C. And I think we're going to have to keep that tonight. So, can't wait to see your impression of things. One of the things that at strategic planning this last year that we really had a lot of conversation on is the potential for folks to retire at the company. We haven't been paying attention to that, but you know, each year we try and take a look at things that are strategically very important for the organization. And you know, we wanted to find ways that we can start proactively having young people look at opportunities that are here with Nex-Tech. For many years, we've worked with Next Generation Roundup for Youth. Jackie Beckman just does a fantastic, amazing job with that program. And one of the big things that they do is provide internships, not just at Nex-Tech, but across the entire Northwest region. And it's exciting to see, you know, the young people come into a business and start seeing what's there, what's available, and how their career, you know, could be here locally. When maybe previously they thought they had to leave to have a good career. So, you know, we've had at Nex-Tech young people that have been involved in many departments. We've had folks help with admin, we've had help with marketing, we've had help with IT, we've had help with HR, and even field services. And so the cool thing about that is we've had a lot of those interns return a second and sometimes third year to work with us. And so we have really appreciated that relationship with Next Generation. Another one that I want to talk about is an effort that Mike Pollock, who's our COO, took his pet project because he put a lot of time and energy into this. Years back, there were a couple of technical colleges that offered a telecom program. And a lot of the folks that work for us and folks across the country have been part of either the Woodland program or the Beloit program. But over time, both of those programs had kind of run their course and were no longer being offered. We knew that we needed folks that were going to have a technical stream to come in and fill some of the positions that we're going to continue to have need and fill. Mike met with several schools in the area, talked to them about having a telecom program that was truly focused on today's technology, not 10 years ago technology, which quite honestly is something that we needed to have. With that, NCK Tech really stood up. Their program had only lapsed for a year, but we needed to work with them. We worked with them to help them update the curriculum. We talked to them about location, so that Beloit course transitioned to Hayes. Now, the reason that was important is we have an amazing lab in Victoria. Anything that goes on our network goes through this lab to be tested. And our guys kind of work through it and make sure everything was working nice and smooth. It also has a classroom that is right next to the lab. So what happened is we worked with NCK Tech, Mike worked with NCK Tech, helped them with revamping the curriculum. We offered the use, with board approval of the lab. And with that, now we've got several young people that are going to be participating in that internship program, or, well, with us, an internship program that we're also covering the cost of their education. And with that, they'll work at Nex-Tech for a few years and hopefully decide that they want to make it a career. So I appreciate your efforts on that, Mike. It makes a big difference to our future. So looking at 2022, and I'll wrap up here fairly quickly. Our fiber growth is going to continue. As the board decided last year at strategic planning to speed up the growth of fiber, the deployment of fiber in our cooperative footprint, next year we'll have our entire cooperative footprint fiber to the home. And that's huge. The area we serve is significant, and having that many folks that are connected to fiber is amazing. This year, the rural areas of the Agra Exchange, Gaylord Exchange, and the northern rural area of the Rainbow Exchange we built on. So we are getting close. We will also continue building fiber in Salina and Great Bend. And with Salina, it's finishing up some of the last business builds, taking a look at some of the apartment complexes and serving those, looking at greenfield neighborhoods that are being plotted and built out. Great Bend, we're building out 2 residential neighborhoods, and so continuing to grow that fiber presence in those 2 communities. And as I was talking with Congressman Rogers, we are going to continue looking at opportunities for federal and state funding to reach areas that are currently either unserved or underserved. So we'll be evaluating that, as the year goes on, and we understand more of the rules along the lines of receiving funding. We want to continue providing tools to protect our customers. You can read newspapers, listen to television, you can hear on a weekly basis of major cyber incidences. So continuing to have that as a focus to make sure not only our network is protected, but also the network of our customers is extremely important. We're going to continue growing Ad Solutions, the marketing team that won that Excellence Award, continuing to grow that part of our business, help others be successful in their business, and it's just an amazing opportunity to connect with the folks that are our customers near and far away, because these services can be offered anywhere in the country. Our team just does an amazing job. And continue to grow our carrier services base. Again, this is services that are provided to other service providers like the NOC, which is a network operations center. They watch over networks of other companies. And if they see issues, they're coordinating with those companies to get them resolved. CALIA is the Communications Assistance for Law Enforcement Act. So if you think about the old days where you heard about wiretaps for telephone service, well, the FBI also continues to watch data going across the internet. So we provide this as a service to companies from Alaska to Puerto Rico. And it's just because of the fantastic team that we have that understand this that we're able to do that on their behalf. I'm going to talk about one more thing, and that's the Mountainridge acquisition. So last year, I was approached by Troy Smith, who is one of the 3 owners of Mountainridge Telephone Company. And we had established a really good relationship over the years since they had owned the company. And I say that because relationships matter. We as folks in Northwest Kansas, North Central Kansas, we understand the value of a relationship. and we also understand the value of the reputation. These two things really factored into how this transition and acquisition took place. They called me up. They were looking at several options at how they would move forward. And the one that it looked like probably made the most sense was selling the company. And they wanted to know if we would be willing to consider buying the company. For this primary reason, they knew it would be a good fit for their team, and they knew that we would take care of their customers and their communities. Now, why is that? Because of the relationship that we had established with them, we did the marketing. I would visit with them about things that are going on in the regulatory side of hearing that we have to work with. The team had built a relationship with their team. They said we don't really want to talk to others, we want to talk to people. And the confidence that they had in us and our team is what really continued to move that effort forward. Looking at the location, if you think about Moundridge and the two exchanges that are part of Moundridge Telephone, it's south of McPherson, and it's on both the east and west side of I-135. So it's an area that, with the growth into Great Bend, the growth into Salina, the business IT services that we're offering all over the state, it really was a good fit for expanding our footprint in the central Kansas. So after visiting with ownership of Moundridge, visiting with the executive management team, we felt that this was a good addition. We brought it to the board. As with other exchanges that we have bought, other regulated exchanges, we have the goal of bringing those two exchanges into the cooperative in the future. With the acquisition, we'll have 8 new employees post-acquisition, and we will have a new office in Moundridge. So really excited about that, and if you have any questions, please feel free to grab me afterwards, and I'll have to talk here on things. So at this point, I get the opportunity to introduce a good friend of mine. Scott Sproul is the CEO of Northwest Kansas Economic Innovation Center. And Scott, once upon a time, was part of the Nex-Tech team. Then he went out and has done great things in a variety of roles. Scott is attended Colby Community College and then went on to Fort Hays State with an emphasis in agriculture and broadcasting. He never strayed far from home. Returned to the area where he has been passionately involved in economic and community development for over 20 years. As regional coordinator for economic development, Scott serves 26 counties in northwest Kansas. He is responsible for project development, administration, business development, retention and expansion, workforce development, public relations, and if you know Scott, you can see the enthusiasm in everything he does. And I'm just excited to share him with you, and look forward to what he has to say. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you. Well, thank you all. Thank you all. I'm really humbled to be here today because, as Jimmy mentioned, I am a former employee of Nex-Tech, and I was thinking about what I was going to say today, and I was pondering that while it was raining last night. By the way, we're having this every week because it's raining. So I was thinking about one phrase: take a chance. This company took a chance in 1951 when they nailed the first copper line to the fence post. This company took a chance when it was a time where people demanded better service. They went up against a company that said, you can't come into our area. And the company did. And the Hill City now has great service. So, and then the inception of Nex-Tech. We want to go provide better service for people that had computer needs. The inception of Nex-Tech Wireless, the acquisition of other exchanges, the list goes on and on. This company has led technology for years and years. It'd be interesting to see what the original board would say when they saw what we were looking at. With that being said, this company took a chance on me, an opportunity to come in and be a warehouse assistant. I thought, I'm going to have a great summer job, and I won't have to go out and do things out in the winter. And I still went out to do things in the winter time. That didn't work out too well, but that's okay. But when I started this job, it was through the leadership and the opportunities with this company, I got to go into IT. I was born in IT. So they taught me everything I needed to learn, which was really exciting because I was learning things every day that I did not know. And then I got an opportunity to be in public relations and community development. I got to tell you, that's when I got bit by the bug. An opportunity to go out and do something for the whole region at a community level. And it's powerful to be able to help people in the right way, to help their business expand, to help young people find a way to stay home, stay here. Powerful work. And I got bit by the bug. So, I had an opportunity to go to a county economic development agency. That's when everyone thought I was crazy. I probably was. But management here at Nex-Tech encouraged me to do it. And so, with that, being there for a few years, we had the opportunity and was approached by the Dane G. Mansell Foundation to do more. That's when the Economic Innovation Center was formed. I just wanted to give you that history because it's all about taking a chance. We learned it through the opportunities here at Rural Telephone Nex-Tech, and we get to carry that leadership and the rest of the opportunities on. I'd like to introduce Michelle Crebo. Michelle is our office manager for the Innovation Center. So we talked a little bit about the past. We talked about what has happened, what's in the future. You saw the wireless lines continuing to expand in the Nex-Tech area. That's no joke. There's a great opportunity right in front of you. And I just have to echo what Phyllis said in the beginning. I want to thank you employees for making this a great company that has fun. And I'll tell you why. Our organization is actually taking what we learned through our work and investment through Nex-Tech and Rural Telephone, and we're putting it to practical purposes to expand our community. Now, in Northwest Kansas, there's several independent telcos. What we found is there's a transformation happening with the pandemic and opportunities for our region. Companies are looking to rural areas to geographically diversify, for them to be able to land employees in Northwest Kansas instead of putting them in the Silicon Valley. Let me give you an example. Through our organization and through the efforts of the independent telcos in the region, we had an opportunity to work with a couple entrepreneurs that wanted to do training for companies in the Silicon Valley. So they developed that training and brought that process to us. Now that company, a year later, has created $2.3 million of new payroll in a downtown area and renovated buildings. That's powerful. You're changing people's lives. You're giving them an opportunity to have a high-paying job, to be able to come home and raise their family. We often take for granted the safety and security of our region. That's one thing that our board takes very dear to their heart. Figuring out how families can move home. We figured it out. We've got the technology. We've got the opportunity. We've got the connection. As Jimmy said, it's all about relationships. And I think when you look at the relationships that we've all forged together through this company, through other relationships, through other resources that are now available. We have a great opportunity. Because we're not just Northwest Kansas, we're now worldwide. We have companies that are going to be looking at us for years. Now it's our chance to go seize that opportunity. A couple more things with the pandemic has been really interesting to work on. Is 6 months before the pandemic even hit New York, we were thinking about how can we get more people to get remote jobs. At that point, we started a program called Really Remote. I remember I was in San Antonio and I was sitting in a taxi, a Uber, going to my meeting, and I told the guy, like 6 months ago, we actually started a program called Remote Work. And then it was just hitting New York, and we were starting to get some of the things that we really didn't know what we were going to be up against. And we were talking, and he turned around and asked me for the lottery number. I thought, why would you ask me for the lottery number? He goes, well, you knew this was coming. And I was like, well, not really. But anyway, we looked pretty smart for about 6 months, and then it all evened out. But we've been able to connect people's work so they can do it from home. We couldn't do it without the investment. All of our work out of the is based on having that type of work. And I applaud everybody for being able to continue that effort because it does make a difference. A couple other things is just that not only just the opportunity in tech companies, is agriculture, those types of things have great opportunities in front of us. We've been working with the Kansas Farm Bureau of Kansas Corn and the Sunflower Electric Group of trying to identify new opportunities for a region. Figuring out how we get quality workforce back to our region and giving them those opportunities. So I think there's a lot that's yet to be uncovered, but the opportunities are endless. So I'm not going to take my full 2-hour block. I'm going to go ahead and probably end there by just saying thank you. Thank you for investing.
Thank you, Scott. You know, it's wonderful that we have a team that is willing to invest in Northwest Kansas and bring people back. You know, I was born and raised in a small farm in Grand County, Northeast Grand County. When I left, I said I'd never ever move back. And what a mistake that would have been for me if I hadn't moved back, because there's nothing better than raising your kids in rural America. And it's great that we have the infrastructure and technology that we can continue to have great businesses in Northwest Kansas. And thank you so much, Todd. Appreciate it. Anyway, next we're going to address any unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business to come before the meeting? Those in person, please raise your hand if there is, and those in the virtual audience, please type in the chat if you have any unfinished business.
So there was a question raised in the virtual attendees about third-party VPN service being available, and asked if Nex-Tech would consider offering this, and we do. So our business customers, this is a service that we offer. If this is something for a residential purpose, then reach out to us and we'll see what might be able to do. But that is a service that we offer.
Is there any other unfinished business? Hearing none, we'll move on to new business. Is there any new business to come before the meeting? Those, again, in attendance, please raise your hand if there is. If there's any in the virtual audience, please type in the chat. Hearing no new business, we'll move on to what everybody has been waiting for, the door prizes. So I'm going to turn this over to Jackie. For those that are attending virtually, we have added your names to the drawing box. And of course, those that are in attendance here, their names got put in when you registered. So, Jackie.
Thank you, Alice. Lisa's going to help me with this. All right, so our first drawing will be for a Pit Boss griddle. And Lisa's going to pull from the box. And we have Lloyd Toll from Logan. Right here. What we'll do is we'll have you guys come down after and get the prizes. Next, we have a Toshiba 50-inch Smart Fire TV. This one is for Deborah Wilson, Hill City. Congratulations. The next prize is a Toshiba 43-inch Smart Fire TV. And the winner is Janice Wentworth from Russell. And she may be on virtually. Virtually, we'll get back with you and let you know how we will be getting those prizes to you. The next is a Fire HD 10 tablet. And the winner is Jackie Wright from here in Lenora. Congratulations. Jackie, I think you're another one that we should ask if we can get some numbers from you as well. Set of lawn chairs is our next prize. And the winner is Monica Bebb from Lenora, excuse me. The next prize is a Keurig. Coffee would be yummy right now. And the winner is Sherry Hackmester from Lenora. The next prize is an air fryer. And the winner is Gail James from Lenora. Next, we have drawings for $100 service certificates for services of Nex-Tech. The first, the winner is James Glennemeyer from Logan, and that is a virtual entry. Congratulations. The next, also for a $100 service certificate. The winner is Wilma Broyles from Logan. Congratulations. We have 4 drawings we're going to be doing for $50 service certificates. And the first of those, the winner is Diane Schwartbigger from Waukene, who is a virtual member. The next, again for $50 service certificate for Nex-Tech Services, is Patrick Zwenger. Not sure the community, but Patrick, congratulations. Also for another $50 service certificate, the winner is Sharon Smith from Lenora. Congratulations, Sharon. And the final $50 certificate the winner is Doran Ziegler from Hill City, joining us virtually. We also have certificates for Amazon Fire Sticks. We'll be doing drawings for 3 of those. The first winner is Gina Goheen. Again, I'm not sure the community, but congratulations, Gina. She's joining us virtually.
Next, also for the Amazon Fire Stick certificate, is Cheryl Dietrich from here in Lenora. Congratulations, Cheryl. And one more for Amazon Fire Stick certificate. The winner is Alfred Otter from New Almo. Congratulations. And that concludes our door prizes. Once again, for those of you that won, if you're here today with us, please come up to the prize table following the meeting, and we will get you your prizes at that time. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Phyllis. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. And again, congratulations to all the winners. With that, that concludes our meeting, and I'm going to say that the 2022 Rural Telephone Annual Meeting of the members will now adjourn. Thank you all for coming. And again, our representatives and our CEO, if you have any questions after the meeting, we'll be around for a few minutes, so please ask. Thank you again.